Next on Worcester News tonight, it's opening day at Fenway. Red Sox fans head into Boston to catch the team's first home game and celebrate the champions. Plus, a motivational speaker talks to high school students about the importance of mental health and positive coping strategies. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Olivia Lemon. The Red Sox are back in Boston for their home opener. Many fans from central Massachusetts took the commuter rail in to see the big game. They say today's weather didn't stop them from celebrating the unofficial start of spring. Our Roslyn Flaherty joins us from Union Station now with more on the story. Roslyn.
Olivia, it was definitely a chilly day for some baseball, but fans say they wouldn't miss seeing the Red Sox receive their World Series championship rings. For these Red Sox fans, going to the home opener is a tradition.
I go every year.
Well, I've been going for the last, 15 years or so.
We've been going to opening day as many years in a row as we can.
But they say this time it's a little sweeter. They hopped in the commuter rail to witness the World Series champions receive their rings.
It's always a rocking atmosphere.
John McCarthy has been a Red Sox fan his whole life, but this will be his first opening day.
Couldn't be more excited.
Although some say the game is an unofficial start to spring, fans had to layer up. Diehard fan Kate Goff says the cold wasn't stopping her.
Oh, it's cold. You either get sunburned, you get rained on, you might sit in snow. It's all go. You go.
Some fans who couldn't make it to the game watched it on the big screens at Quinn's Irish Pub.
City of Champions. Why not?
Goff says New England is spoiled when it comes to winning championships and knows the Sox can pull it off again this year.
This is just the greatest town in the world for sports. Are you kidding me? World Series, Super Bowl, on the mound today. Epic.
Now, unfortunately, the Sox did lose, so there may be some unhappy fans headed back on the train tonight, but it is a long season and fans remain optimistic. Live in Worcester, Roslyn Flaherty, Worcester News Tonight.
All right, thank you, Roslyn. And before the big game, the World Series champions got their rings while the new championship banner was unveiled. Eli Rosenberg has more on all of the festivities.
In a city full of fans waiting for this day. The clouds and gloomy weather, no deterrent when it comes to celebrating these champs.
It's the best day of the year. And I'm from Maine, and it's 20 degrees colder and snowing there, so this weather's okay, right?
The fans lined up early, eager to get into Fenway Park. Not even the Sox' slow start, enough to damper the enthusiasm.
I'm really excited. Opening day, rings, some Patriots players maybe, so it doesn't get better than this.
And the ceremony didn't disappoint. First came the 2018 World Series banner, massive as it is impressive. Then it came time for the hardware. Those spectacular World Series rings, as everyone from David Price to Mookie Betts collected their World Series rings to thunderous applause.
We're going to do it again this year and next year, and it's going to be great. I'm so excited.
Then a welcome from one champ to another. The Super Bowl champs, led by Julian Edelman and Rob Gronkowski, throwing out the first pitch. And then signing autographs with fans.
Bling, bling, baby.
It also a chance for alumni like Manny Ramirez to come home.
This feels awesome, man. This is the best place ever. Yeah, it's awesome.
You miss it?
I don't miss the weather, but I miss the team.
A day fitting for the World Series champs as they start their quest for another. And let's talk about those rings. 4.5 carats worth of diamonds, nearly 6 carats of rubies, 4 carats of sapphires. On one side it says damage done, and the other 119 wins. As the party here behind me continues. Reporting outside of Fenway Park, Eli Rosenberg, Worcester News Tonight.
And not the best weather for a home opener. It rained on and off throughout the day, but it didn't seem to stop Sox fans, and it looks like we can expect more mist and fog as we head into tomorrow. Here's meteorologist Tim Kelly with a first look at our local forecast.
It was a cold, gray day, and now actually temperatures come up a little bit with a round of showers and even a thunderstorm coming through. Major storm brewing to the west. It's going to have a severe weather outbreak and a blizzard. Flooding off to the southeast. that tropical moisture is missing us. What's happening right now is air is coming in from the ocean and air is coming in from New York. And that air in New York spawned a couple of strong thunderstorms, but those have mostly diminished. Lightning cannot be ruled out. Most of the action going over and pushing east now. Rain snow line in Maine, but the freezing level coming down in the cloud now, so you may have a little bit of ice or snow falling with your raindrops here this evening. Drying it out, by 10 o'clock we're left with drizzle and fog again, but the wind is going to pick up from the northwest. That's drier than when it comes in from the east, and there's a bit of a front right over us. Tomorrow morning it's going to be 30 to 35 degrees, not expecting any icing, but you'll need a winter jacket in the morning. Tomorrow the air is going to come more from the west and the northwest, and although it's a colder air mass up in the sky, down on the ground, it's going to be 45 by lunchtime. The airport doesn't count. The airport will be in the lower 40s, but downtown will be closer to 45 to 50. Few raindrops to our north and east late in the day tomorrow, but with sunshine, it turns into a pretty nice day thanks to a land breeze. And then we're going to start to warm it up. We have to track that storm in the Midwest and talk about mostly nice weekend forecast in a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Tim. A Clark University student is suing the school in federal court. The freshman male is only being identified as John Doe in the complaint. He says he was falsely accused and unfairly convicted of sexual exploitation. The student argues the college has become biased against male students in sexual misconduct cases. The school has no comment on the pending litigation. A residential program for teenage girls working on recovery is closing its doors effective immediately. The Highland Grace House service girls ages 13 to 17 and had been in service since 2006. Its parent organization, Community Health Link, cites underutilization as the reason for closing. The mental health provider says in the last 3 years, the average use of the program declined to less than half of its capacity. The president says in a statement, in part, while it's hard to close one program, we will continue to operate our effective youth-serving community-based programs. Many high school students have a lot on their plates. A local group says participating in positive mental health practices like mindfulness can help students handle stress. Tuesday, dozens gathered at St. John's High School with the Shine Initiative to learn more about mental health awareness. Our Brittany Schaefer joins us now to explain. Brittany.
Olivia, suicide is the second leading cause of death in young people. The Shine Initiative says it's important to have an open conversation about mental health with teens so they realize they aren't alone. Dozens of students from across central Massachusetts taking part in the Shine Initiative's Healthy Frames of Mind Summit. The event teaches kids they aren't alone.
Knowing what to do if you suffer from mental illness, but also knowing how to support each other around making mental wellness also a normal thing.
This day is like shattering the stigma and joining the conversation and actually talking about these topics.
The students are part of Shine Initiative's student wellness advisory teams, which empower students to become mental wellness advocates in their schools.
It's an issue that I really care about, and it's important that we send the message to other students that, they're not alone.
It helps me at the very least, being able to share coping mechanisms, some that might not have worked for me but work for other people, breathing techniques when I get into stressful situations.
Grafton High School senior Rachel Tabachnik suffers from anxiety. She says it's great to be able to speak with others going through the same issues.
This session hit kind of close to home. I'm going off to college, and because I do struggle with anxiety, OCD, depression, it's tough being away from my family, and definitely hearing how other people deal with these issues is helpful.
According to the Shine Initiative, 50% of all mental illness begin by age 14. Executive Director Fred Kalin says it's important to address mental wellness at a young age.
When you're a teen, so much is going on, so much change is happening anyway, and you're navigating social life and all of these things, and then high school and then college. But also there's tons that's going on in our brains, and so much, about our minds is developing. And the topic is at a point where, young people in schools want to engage with it, which is wonderful.
Kalin says the Shine Initiative is currently partnered with 36 schools in central Massachusetts, and they are expanding statewide. Brittany Schaefer, Worcester News Tonight.
Assumption College is collecting donations in exchange for unpaid campus parking tickets. It's the third year the school has partnered with Project New Hope for the Tickets for Troops event. Students can donate $10 to have fines of up to 2 parking tickets forgiven. Assumption Campus Police say it's important to partner with Project New Hope because they support military veterans and their families.
First of all, I'm a veteran, so that is, helps my other fellow veterans with issues they're having, and money goes to a good cause.
And Project New Hope was founded by Assumption alumnus Bill Moore. He's a disabled United States Air Force veteran. Students who donated were also entered into a raffle for Bose headphones. Some people in wheelchairs say they have plenty to consider when traveling around the city, and their needs aren't always met in Worcester. The city only has 2 medallions for wheelchair accessible taxis, and 1 isn't in service. A transportation advocacy coalition says there needs to be more access. Our Chandler Walsh joins us now to explain. Chandler.
Olivia, there's been a push like this. The coalition says there's been a push like this one in the city for years, but with all of the recent growth, they see a greater demand for wheelchair accessible vehicles and are making more efforts. Frank Miska gets into an accessible van with his power chair. He's used it the past several years after being diagnosed with MS.
I've progressed from walking with a cane to the point where I need to have a power chair.
Miska is thankful for Summit Elder Care's transportation service Safeway. He also relies on the WRTA's paratransit service for elderly and disabled riders. But if he hasn't scheduled a ride 24 hours before, he needs a friend's help.
I have a friend who has built a ramp that can put my power chair on the platform on the back. It takes time to bolt it down, make sure it's not going to move anywhere.
A transportation advocacy coalition says the lack of options is a quality of life issue. In addition to the WRTA, there's only 1 wheelchair accessible taxi in the city through Red Cab.
Students with disabilities at college who use wheelchairs, or older adults that want to get out, different times, don't have the access that everybody else does.
The coalition says there's a need for more on-demand transportation options like taxis or accessible ride-sharing services.
Being a single parent, if my child has to go to the hospital, I'm in a wheelchair. I can't go with them in the ambulance, so I've got to call someone. And like I say, I've got to find accessible transportation in the middle of the night or any time of day.
Another challenge, riders' final destinations aren't always near service routes. The coalition says making the city more accessible will benefit everyone.
I have no up and go ability, and it's a spontaneous world, and I'm not part of it. That's a problem.
The coalition's first goal to make the city more accessible is to have a rider with disabilities on the WRTA advisory board to help with decisions. Live in Worcester, Chandler Walsh, Worcester News Tonight.